Hello grade 10, this is Miss Hughes and I'm going to be going over the review quiz for the logs, indices and surds test. Okay, now just before we start, a quick reminder of the things that should be on that you need to have ready at the beginning of the test. A few quick reminders, so a few classic examples. 32 to the minus 3 over 5. You should have a clear reminder that the 5 indicates the root, so the fifth root of 32, which is 2. The 3 indicates the power, so we would do 2 to the power 3, which is 8. And the minus tells you to find the reciprocal. So the answer to this would be 1/8. As well as that, it would also be a good idea to have your classic log example. And the one we tend to use is log base 2 of 8 equals 3, if and only if. And then some of you struggle where to start. The 2 is the base here. It's the lowest number, the base. The 2 goes there. It's the base because it's not on the line, it's below. So 2 to the power 3 equals 8. Okay, and just a reminder, this is going to be a non-calculator test. So I'm going to be working through the answers without a calculator. Okay, here we go. So beginning with the 3 applies to everything inside this bracket. So here I'm using the rule AB to the n is A to the n, B to the n. So 2 cubed is 8, and then A cubed, and AB squared. Now if you think about it, A cubed is A times A times A, and there's an A in the denominator, so those two cancel out. And I'm left with 8a squared over b squared. You could put those together, I guess, but there's no need. All right, next one. I'm going to start working with this first. So that minus 2 applies to everything in the bracket. So I'm going to square everything, and I'm going to find the reciprocal. So it's going to be 1 over 5 squared, which is 25. And x squared, which is x squared, times by 15x cubed, x to the 5. Now that 5 only applies to the x, it doesn't apply to the whole 15. I'm multiplying here, so I can just go ahead and do that. There's an invisible denominator of 1. 1 times 15x squared is x to the 5, and then 25x squared. I need to cancel. 5 goes into both of these, 3 times and 5 times. So I've got 3 and 5. And x to the 5 divided by x to the 2 is x to the 3. Good, moving on. All right, so we've kind of gone through this one in the example. The lower number tells you the root, that the number in the denominator tells you, in the numerator tells you the power. So we're looking for the fifth root of 32, and then we're going to raise it to the power of 3. Again, we're looking for the fifth root of 32. It's going to be a small number. What number to the power of 5 equals 32? And it's 2. So it's 2 cubed, which is 8. Okay? Okay, make sure you show your workings on this. If you just wrote the answer of 8, you may not get full marks. Make sure you show how you've done this. All right. We're asked to, there's a fraction here, and we're asked to raise it to the power of negative a half. It doesn't matter which order we do those in. I'm going to choose to deal with the negative first. So the negative tells me to find the reciprocal. So in other words, to flip the fraction over. So I get this. Now that means I've dealt with the minus. The minus is gone, and I've just got the power of a half. Now you've got two options here. You can actually work out 5 to the 4 and 2 to the 6 and then apply the half to it. I'm going to be a little bit lazy and use the rule that says a to the m to the n is the same as a to the mn. So, and I'm also going to use the rule that a over b to the n, I can split that fraction. Okay? So I'm going to split that fraction and do 5 to the 4 to the half and 2 to the 6 to the half. Now 5 to the 4 to the half, 4 times a half is 2, so I get 2. And 6 times a half is 3, so 2 to the 3. Now, quite often these have been simplified, but the task for this was evaluate. So there it is. evaluate, which means you actually have to find a value, a number answer. So 5 squared is 25, 2 cubed is 8. And if you wanted to, you could turn this into 3 1/8, but this is also fine. Okay, on to surds. Now, I've mentioned this before, but the key thing about working with surds is realizing the difference between adding and multiplying. So if I've got 5 root 3 times 2 root 3, that's the same as 5 times 2 times root 3 times root 3. I've just changed the order, which is okay with multiplication, which gives me 10 times root, 3, right? Root 9, which is 3, so 10 times 3. Whereas if I was adding 5 root 3 plus 2 root 3, then I've kind of got to think of it as 5x plus 2x, which gives you 7 times root 3. Root 3 doesn't get squared. So it's 5 lots of the root plus 2 lots of the root is 7 lots of the root. Okay, now here I'm multiplying. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to change the order it's written in. There's an invisible times sign here and here. So 2 times 5 times root 6 times root 2. 2 times 5 is 10. 6 times 2 is 12. Now, it does say as a simplified surd, so we've always got to look back at our answers and decide if that's fully simplified. And to decide that, we think about whether there are any square numbers that go into that number. Now, that just brings me back right to the beginning. Another thing I should have added here that would have been useful is make sure you know your square numbers. So 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared, 4 squared, 5 squared, 6 squared, 7 squared, and 8 squared. No, I've missed that. Sorry, 64 is 8 squared, 81 is 9 squared, and 100. If you do not know these numbers off by heart, you will really struggle in the test. Equally, if you don't know your powers of 2. Powers of 2, so 2 to the 1 is 2, 2 to the 2 squared, 2 cubed, 2 to the 4, 2 to the 5. And a probably good idea to know the powers of 3. So 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3 is 81. So 3 to the 1, 3 to the 2, 3 to the 3, 3 to the 4. And same with the powers of 5. I'm not going to do them, but that would be a good idea. Okay, so here we should recognize straight away a square number that goes into 12. It would be 4. So this is 10 root 4 times 3. Always write the square number first, or else things go wrong. So square root of 4 times square root of 3. So I'm allowed to split a product. That's okay. Root 4 is just 2. So the answer is 20 root 3. That's fully simplified. Right, for this one, it's not multiplications. It's actually all different terms. So it's a good idea to think of them as if they were variables, really. So 2 times x minus 5 times, this is a different variable, so I'm going to put y plus 6x. Here you would always do 2x and plus 6x. You'd collect those together and get 8x minus 5y. Same thing here. I've got 2 root 2. Oh, no, sorry, I've just realized that should be a y, because those two are the same. Backtrack. Okay, let's just delete that. Okay. All right, I'm not going to go over the x's and y's again, but just think of that, the fact that this is kind of an x, this is kind of a y, and these two are the same, so I can collect those two together. Sorry for the confusion. So minus 5 root 3 plus 6 root 3, I can put those together. So I get 2 root 2 plus root 3. I can't now collect these because they're not, they're different roots. Okay. Right, now none of these are the same root, so I can't collect any of those together, so I need to think about simplifying. Root 27, so something, a square number that goes into 27, and that would be 9. I'm going to do that on the side. Root 27 is root 9 times 3, which is root 9 root 3, which is 3 root 3. I'm going to do the same with 75. So 25 times 3 which is root 25, root 3, 5 root 3. Okay, so let's put this together now. 3 times this, which is 3 root 3, plus 5 root 3, and minus root 3. Now these are all the same surd, so I can put those together. I'm just going to tidy that up a little bit. And we get 9 plus 5 is 14, minus 1 is 13 root 3. Right, rationalizing the denominator. So here, most of you seem to remember that we need to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same thing. 4 times root 10 is 4 root 10. Root 10 multiplied by itself is 10. We've done that. We've stopped the denominator from being a surd. We're now going to simplify. So we're not allowed to touch this 10 because it's inside the root. But we can simplify the 4 with the 10. So the answer is 2 root 10 over 5. Don't be tempted to cancel inside the square root.